Hello everybody and welcome to another MXGP Tech Talk with me, Paul Malin, where today we'll be speaking to Vertex Pistons and Power about their pistons and what it takes to design and engineer probably one of the most important parts of the motorcycle. Joining me today from Italy, we have Marco Poletti, the aftermarket sales and aftermarket sales inspector, and Marcus Pereira de Freitas, who is MXGP HRC General Manager. Welcome, guys. First of all, Marco, great to see you. How are you and where are you?
Oh, I'm in a company. I'm fine, thank you. First of all, Paul, I hope the same is for you, for everybody. So I'm in a company, and we are. First of all, many thanks for all this.
No problem. And Marcus.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys to having me here today. Yeah, I'm actually working from home today. Actually, after that break, so we cannot be in the workshop in Milan for a while. So now I'm around the Venice area. So thank you very much for having me here today, Paul.
No problem. Well, look, before we talk to both these guys here, let's just take a look at what Vertex do. Here's a quick video. So nice little video there just to keep us entertained and just to give us some kind of insight as to what Vertex is all about and the riders and teams that are associated. And obviously we have the defending world champions here with HRC, with Marcus. But Marco Poletti, I'm going to come to you. I guess Vertex in many countries means pistons. So how did you get such a reputation, such a good reputation? Within this sector?
Oh, Paul, probably you already know that we have a long history, okay, and we are present on the market since a long time. A long time, it means, if I remember well, 1953 are almost 70 years that we are producing pistons. So for sure, at the beginning, our piston were for moped and so on, but are right now we are producing piston for and we are supplying really a lot of motorcycle factory, like as for KTM, for Beta, for Husqvarna, and so on. And all this is all with us to promote our brand all over the world, as you know.
Sure. And obviously, I guess given in the the age that we are now with the four strokes, one of your most sort of well-known, one of your most famous brands or products in the line is the four-stroke piston. Just tell us about that.
So let's say that with the advent of the four-stroke engine, much of our development has focused on this kind of engine, of course. And if I remember, I still remember when I saw my first four-stroke off-road pistons in 1998, if I remember well, on a Yamaha four-stroke 400cc, and are almost more than 20 years. And we wondered how we could have improving a perfect product like this. Okay, and a lot has been done since then, and every year we are focused to raise and the level and set up more of these pistons. Okay, and over more ambition goals is more and more complicated right now. What can I say more? We use special materials, as you know, probably. We use special treatment. We use special alloy.
Yeah. So now I guess you're going to talk.
Now we are focused on the four-stroke, but because the market has obliged us, of course, to stay focused on all this. But we are still producing. We are still developing also the two-stroke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how is the four-stroke line structured? You just mentioned the two-stroke, but how is the four-stroke line structured? What goes into it?
When we think in a brand new piston for the four-stroke, of course, we always start from the OE pistons, okay? And first of all, we buy a brand new piston for a brand new bike. We buy also the cylinder head, we buy the cylinder, all the complete bottom end of the bike. We study all this, okay? And try to improve a brand new and the OE pistons. Okay. Starting from this, we produce first of all the replica. Okay, that's exactly a copy of the original pistons. For other riders that want something more, we produce also the high compression. We invent the high compression pistons. Okay. The compression pistons and or HC. For other riders, they want something a little bit more. For the riders that want a special tune on their bikes, we are offering also the GP Racer Choice. Okay, that is more or less, of course, a copy of the piston that are used on the factory bikes. Okay, more or less.
All right. I just saw the last picture we saw there was the two-stroke piston, but how you're obviously still making two-stroke pistons. There is still a good market for the two-stroke piston. How important is that for Vertex?
So, as you are telling Paul, the two-stroke market, the two-stroke bikes are still alive, of course. First of all, is the first step for the young rider. We have to consider all this. But when a young rider has to move the first step, he's obliged, and of course, he needs to use a two-stroke bike, like as the 65, the 85cc, or small or big wheels, as you know. And we have to continue to develop these pistons, this kind of pistons. Also because we are supplying, as I told you, the KTM bikes, the Husqvarna bike, the Beta bikes, and so on. And this obliges us to develop this kind of product and try to reach also in this, the best performer for the bike. Okay, so the two-stroke is still alive.
Yeah. And there's obviously a lot of guys still riding them very, very fondly as well. But Marcus, I'm going to come to you. For, I don't know what, sort of the last 15 years or so, the brand HRC, Honda, has been associated with Vertex. You use them, you're still using them, I guess, to ensure the best performance of your motorcycle, to give your riders the best opportunity. But how do you develop the tests and the setup of the piston? Where does it all start?
Yeah, that's basically all start from R&D. Usually contact Vertex and just send all the requests and the way they want you to have their piston. So, and soon Vertex is able to provide that final piece, so then you can test in Japan first on the bench, dyno, some test riders as well there, and after we can use in our GP bike.
And do you make the tests sort of at any particular time of the year? So, like, let's say pistons, do you do these tests in the winter, the beginning of the season, or is it ongoing throughout the season for you guys?
Oh yeah, no, we have basically 5-6 tests during the season, and that kind of items just joined. I mean, in the end of our season through the beginning of the another one. So we have ongoing tests as well between engine and frame wide. So we have all those kind of equipment together on those tests, right?
Yeah, and what's sort of more important in order to obtain the best result? I mean, you've got performance, you've got reliability. Is it difficult to achieve both?
Yeah, definitely is very difficult to achieve both. But reliability is very important for us, to give our riders a safety item on the bike, and all items we have, we need to give 100% secure to the rider. So, and try to have performance together. So because those two running on same direction. So, but yeah, we always try to have both.
Yeah. Marco, I'm going to come back to you briefly. Obviously, we're talking motocross pistons here at the moment, but you mentioned the history of Vertex, with mopeds and scooters and this kind of thing. But are you still producing pistons for road bikes? And if so, what is the difference between a road bike piston and a piston that we use in off-road?
Of course, Paul, we are producing also piston for the road bikes. Is one of the brand new project because few years ago we took the decision to move also in this kind of market. Obviously, as is in our strategy, as is in our history, we approach this kind of market through the races. Okay, developing product for Ducati, for example, Panigale, for Japanese, Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, of course, and so on. And we are still developing in a way to obtain the best performance. We are present on all the circuits, everywhere when it's possible. And we are technical partner, for example, in GP with the SICH 58, teams, and in the past also the Grosini teams for the Moto3, of course. The differences between an off-road and a road pistons are not really big because we using with the same approach in test, in develop, more or less, and is the same piston is the same for us.
And are they, on all Vertex pistons, are they still produced in Italy, yes?
Yeah, of course, we're really proud in this because we are producing the piston. All our pistons, and I'm so sorry, I'm proud also to say that we are producing more or less 1 million of piston per year, are all produced in our factory here in Italy, in Reggio Emilia in Italy. We use, of course, an external source, like is, for example, for the rings that we are buying in Japan. But for all but we produce the piston all inside our company.
So what would you say are the strong points then, or the strongest point with your pistons, with Vertex?
Oh, first of all, reliability, of course, absolutely, because thanks to a really deep knowledge that we have, because as I told, we are developing pistons, races pistons since a long time, and I remind you that we won our first world title in 1994. This really means that we are developing race pistons since a long time, and having this really deep knowledge, we are able to produce a piston that really ensure to our riders. Also, first of all, the Sunday riders, the enthusiast riders, to ride really in safe way. Absolutely.
Yeah. As we saw from the video at the beginning of the program, it seems that you're involved with quite a lot of MXGP teams and enduro teams as well. I guess you must be pretty pleased with that, because that shows a trust in Vertex and what you're doing, and the riders and teams. That's quite a major thing. But you must be pleased that you've got so much confidence that it's used both MXGP and enduro.
Well, first of all, I will say that races are really in our company philosophy, because first of all, we really love this all this kind of sports, all the kind of races. For us, MXGP, enduro riders, and so on are really part of our family. First of all, our family, and we are convinced that. First of all, if you want to produce a good pistons, if you want to produce a good product, you have to test it. You have to develop all this using the best teams, as is for HRC. And once again, thanks to Marcos and the entire teams, and test every Sunday, with the best riders. Once stressed all this, we are really sure that we can put on the market the best product. First of all, this. And what can I say more? We really love this world, and we want to always try to reach the best. And for us, to provide the best pistons to team guys, for example, is one daily goals for us. It is really helpful for us to produce the best piston also for the Sunday riders.
Okay, well, we've got a social media question here for you, Marco, from Gustavo Vin. Is there a big difference between a motocross piston and an enduro piston?
Paul, not. Obviously, no. For example, if I use a Honda for enduro or an Honda 450 for off-road, basically is the same pistons. Okay, probably if you want to set up the bikes in the best way, I have to change something, but at the end are the same pistons.
Okay, you offer pistons as part of a cylinder kit, including the gasket. Tell us about that.
Yeah, first of all, we have included in our group, there's a company that is producing the cylinder. That is producing cylinder. Okay, there's a company, the Cylinder Works. We include in our cylinders also our piston, first of all, and we are offering on the market the standard one, the standard bore, the big bore cylinder kit. Okay, and gasket, of course, as you are telling Paul. Gasket that are produced also by a company of our group, included in our group. Okay.
Okay. And what is the OE kit? Because you do different kits, the OE kit and the VTK kit. Why are they so important to you?
So you know everything about our company, Paul. You know.
I know one or two things because when I ex-racer 125 and 250.
I know very well. I know very well.
Also used to use the product, so
I know. And honestly, I was your fan at the time. Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, as you are telling, we are offering on the market the OE kit. The OE kit is the replica pistons, or just in case, of course, a single piston, but in a race versions or in another version. Okay, but the VTK, but the VTK is born 5 years ago and way too often on the market, and a simple way to save money and time. Okay, first of all, because in a single box, we can offer to the mechanic or the end user your piston, your brand new pistons, your gasket, the top end kit gasket, and if it is a 2-stroke, the piston pin bearing off, or if it's 4-stroke, the cam chain, that in this case is free of charge also. And you have only to choose your piston in your right selection, A, B, C, L, or D, it depends. Okay, and buy and go.
Okay. And do you, obviously you do the kits and the gasket and all that, do Vertex do any other special parts for dirt bikes?
Yeah, we do. So we are a big group, first of all. We are a big group. Our group is owns over, for example, all bolts, hot cams, hot road, as I told you, cylinder work, and so on. And do this, we are producing connecting rod, crankshaft, special crankshaft with a different stroker, cylinder, big bore, and nut. All bolts are all the particulars that are present on the bike. For example, the brand new linkage, if you have to change it, cables for the clutch when you need, or we are producing and we are distributing a lot of parts, of course, Paul.
Good. Well, we've got another couple of social media questions come for you here. Angelo Diaz, or Diaz, if that's the correct pronunciation, is the piston of a factory rider the same as what you can buy on the market?
A good question. A visual question is one of visual questions. What can I say? Of course, the piston that we are developing for team it can be the same that you can buy, But I want to ensure our dealers, I want to ensure our end user that anyway, the piston that they can buy is really close to the piston that we are developing for the special teams. Okay. Not the same. It's not a copy of, but it's really similar.
Okay, there is another social question here from Alex Williams. In addition to pistons, you also produce cylinder kits with original displacement and others with a bigger displacement. What are the benefits of these kits?
So first of all, when you are obliged to buy an original brand new cylinder kit, probably you have destroyed your engine, and I'm only and facing this big disaster. Probably the first your talks is save money. In this case, I'm trying to offer you the way to save part of your money in your pocket. Okay. If you took the decision to use in a big bucket, okay, probably you have destroy your engine, but you are searching also something more, okay, or in a short way, or in a cut way to obtain a bigger displacement. That it means also more HP, more powerful, and so on. So save money or find a trick, okay, to have something more.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for now. Marcus, I'm going to come back to you. Obviously, being sort of MXGP HRC general manager, you are, responsible for overseeing two riders, the defending champion, Tim Geiser, and his new teammate, Mitch Evans. And there are a lot of guys and girls out there, you know, fans of the sport. I guess the biggest question on their lips is, you know, they see these two factory bikes, two HRC bikes. Are their engines the same, though? Is that something that you can share with us?
Yes, of course. No, as I can tell you, both engines base is completely the same, actually. We don't have that mentality to have one rider, first rider or second rider. So both riders have basically the same equipment, just different setup. Obviously, way to riding, as a Mitch have a one and Tim have another one, but engine-wise is complete same for both.
And going back to sort of pistons, obviously that's why we're here, because we're doing a Vertex Tech Talk here on MXGP. How long does a piston last? I mean, how many hours would you change a piston on the race bike? And I guess, would you recommend a time frame that you would change a piston if you were just a weekend rider, for instance?
All right, yeah. I think so in our case, definitely if the race is normal, I mean, no mud race and just like a hard pack and stuff like that, I can say it's like 2 GPs. The piston can last very well. I mean, we change just to be safe and have good performance all the time, but 10 hours is something like closely that could be in the end.
Okay. And what about changing a piston? Because from the outside looking in, you know, whether it's a fan or a journalist, Honda with their factory machinery, HRC, they very, very secretive, always have been. And even still now, you're very secretive. Like if I came up to you on the weekend and said, oh, you have a brand new bike, what's changed? You will probably just say, it's just a new bike. So with that in mind, when it comes to, let's say you have to change a piston on the race weekend, is that something you would do or could do? So I know you can change a piston at the track, not a problem, but is that something you would do in the confines of the MXGP paddock, or is this something that is only allowed within the factory of HRC?
No, yes. We try to have like a spare engine rotation and the choke. So that's mean we have the maintenance and change parts in our workshop. That's obviously, then you have our engine room, like with consistent temperature, and also for us, obviously it's more easy. But sometimes you have to do those changes in the choke. Obviously, we have a good choke with a good base to work on. So, and obviously, as soon as you have our engineer opening the engine and checking or whatever, so you need to be on his own and try to be like more secret possible, and no picture around, no different people's allowed to get in. So I think it's just the way we've been working for a while, and looks like that worked out.
Yeah. And what do you actually? What would you say is more difficult, setting up an engine or setting up the chassis?
Well, obviously both, Paul, is difficult, but I think as soon as you have a good 450, you have a lot of good power already. As soon as you have a good power like that, you just can focus on your frame and chassis to try to keep that power in the ground. So, but I guess it's more difficult on chassis-wise, because engine, we know that the power is good enough on 450. But obviously, when you have both on same level, 50-50 is perfect.
So what would you spend more time on then, or what would the riders spend more time on? Just setting up the engine, or setting up the rest of it, the chassis and the handling side?
No, more on the handling side, more on the chassis wise. So I think they spend more time. As soon as they have a good base on the engine, they just focus on suspension and balance of the bike, and try to keep more smooth as possible. So. But yeah, I can say more on chassis wise.
All right, and this question is just based on purely sort of development, and it's based on as well the fact that as a rider, I kind of remember around about 91, one of the Japanese supercrosses, Osaka, I believe, HRC kind of unveiled a bike with a automatic or semi-automatic gearbox. And we never saw it again after that. So it was obviously something they tried and tested. and maybe either weren't happy with it or whatever, but we've not seen it since. So is that something that you could maybe envisage in the future, where we could possibly see, automatic, semi-automatic gearboxes in the current way that we go racing on four strokes? Yes or no?
To be honest, I cannot see that from right now. I know Honda is always HRC experience some different development. As we know in the past, we have the 700 with the oval piston, so. But I cannot see those kind of gearbox on our 450 on that area. So probably, you never know with them. Always try to do something different as usual, but as far as I know, I cannot see that information.
Actually, Marco, reading between the lines, that sounds like they're already using one, don't they? I'm only joking. No. But we do have some more social media questions come through. And actually, Marco, back to you.
Okay.
This one is from James Stevens. Is it true that you use the same technology as Formula One? And if so, what does that mean exactly?
So it's true, first of all, that it means that, first of all, we have studied, Formula One is the extreme, it means the extreme competition, the extreme engine, the maximum power, and we, first of all, we studying in a piston, we live really we live really close to the Ferrari. We live in an area where it's quite easy, to provide strange information, and parts sometimes. And we having the occasion to study a piston that they are used in a Formula One engine. We studied material, first of all, design. We study treatment, rings that they are using, and we try also to move all this technology to an off-road pistons. Okay.
Another question here for you, Marco. This one actually from Marco B. How could I notice that the piston of my bike needs to be changed?
Oh, first of all, we put inside any boxes how long is the piston's life, okay? And we suggest to change it. It depends if it is 2 or 4 stroke, first of all, and after a numbers of hours, okay? But nobody knows exactly how has been used your bike. What I mean, if you have used your bike, for example, for 20 hours in a mud or in a sand, it depends, okay? But anyway, we always suggest a numbers of hours after that you have to check your bikes, of course.
Okay, one more here. David Hill. For the best performance, can I use whatever petrol I want, or do I need to be more specific?
No, absolutely. We develop a piston that you can change and use in your original bikes. You don't need any really special piston.
Okay. Marcus, one question here for you from Sebastian Antonelli. Is it important to use a good engine oil to maintain the good performance of the piston?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for your question, Sebastian. Yes, of course. I mean, the oil is the life of your engine. So as soon as you have a good oil with good viscosity, and can save the hour and the life on your engine, because it can lube well your piston, your gearbox, your clutch. I mean, that's very important to have a good oil performance into your engine.
All right. Thank you for that. Marco, again, from Reginald Lapointe or Lapointe. How many hours before I should overhaul the top end? And what kind of oil should I use? And how often should I change it?
Oh, what can I say? Back to the first question. you have to change your piston when you know that it's time to change. What I mean, you first of all you have to check how many hours have to use the bikes. Of course, you have to check. You have to ensure to use the best oil. And first of all, it depends also if it's 2 or 4 stroke, because if you are using in a mixed or you're using not this. Okay, when it's a 2 stroke, of course you have to use a really good oil, because this is really important to have inside.
Okay, and one more question, Christian O. This again is to Marco. What's the reason Vertex only have one piston ring?
No, it depends also. We don't use only one piston with only one piston ring. For example, the KTM 125 two-stroke OE has two rings. Okay, and some also special version has 2 rings. It depends what you are searching for on your bikes when you have to use the bike. In which kind of bike you want to have when you go on your track. Okay, but anyway, when you use a piston with 1 ring, you are searching something more. Okay, with the 2 ring, you have a better response at the bottom. Okay, with the 1 ring, it is different.
Okay, well, look, hopefully that answers all your questions on social media. But guys, all that's left for me to say is to Marco Paletti and to Marcus Pereira de Freitas from HRC. Thanks for joining us here today on our MXGP Tech Talk. We will be back tomorrow on Instagram Live with Lisa Leyland. She's got Ivo Monticelli as her guest tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. And of course, we'll be doing a studio show live on Saturday as well. So once again, guys, thank you for joining us for our Tech Talk. And hopefully we'll be back next week with more of the same. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. And we'll see you again very, very soon.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, we'll see you two guys at a racetrack very, very soon as well. It looks like things are improving.
Yeah, getting together. Thank you very much.
No problem. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.